Hi everybody and welcome to another Creative Corner. I hope that you've had a great month and that it's all gone very nicely for you and the sun is now shining as it is here. So today I'm going to get straight to it. The sets I'm going to use today I've chosen because of the color. I've chosen a really neutral color palette today, and so it pretty much goes with everything. It's also a little bit unusual for me because it's a little bit lighter than I normally go for, but that's okay. We're gonna see if I really like it or whether I need to switch it out later on. But for now, I think it will go quite nicely with the colors of the flowers that I've chosen. Speaking of flowers, let me just take you on a bit of a tour of the flowers. So I've got today a camera to be able to show you. So I'm just going to ask Philippe to switch to the handheld camera, and I'm going to take you through a little tour of the flowers I've got. So there's some beautiful flowers here. Now all of the flowers I've got are seasonal flowers. So literally, I just go into my local florist and see what they have. And these are the beautiful flowers that she arranged for me this week. So I am very tempted to start with these beautiful dahlias, and I'm also very keen to use these today. They're very unusual for me to have been able to get hold of. So I think they're poppy seeds. I'm not entirely sure. I'm sure somebody's going to let me know. I normally Google them before the live, so I'm sorry I haven't managed to do that. So these ones I am very keen on, and of course I want to start my new butterflies as well. So we're going to, thanks Philippe, if you can switch back now. I'm going to start the show, start us off with one of those beautiful big dahlias. Now, the other thing I managed to get hold of recently is some of these flower frogs, and I'm loving them. I've never really liked using flower foam, so these mean that I can scrap using flower foam entirely and use these, which are recyclable. And obviously I can just clean them at the end and keep using them. So I'm going to be using those. Oh, my live view just switched off, so I'm just going to renovate the live view. And I'm going to start with my beautiful star of today, which will be this dahlia. Now, I'm just going to get my secateurs ready and also a piece of tissue so that I don't drip onto the sets. So, excuse me whilst I just pull out a piece of tissue. Right, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to start with this beauty. I love how these stalks are coming off as well into the back. So I'm going to cut this so it lives back here. So I'm going to probably have to cut a good... I'm probably going to cut just below there and see where I go. If I have to cut the stem, that will mean obviously those three little flowers then become separated. So do they all fit in the frame? They do, which is great. So I'm going to now put that directly onto my flower frog. Ah, beautiful. And I love that that holds that beautiful flower. So oh, look at that. I can push it all the way back here. Or I could put it even on the second level and have that bang in the middle and have everything else work around it. Shall we do that? I think we might do that. So I'm going to talk to you about what I've created on set. And I've created a little layers here just to give us a little bit more interest, and that initially helps us build a set up. Now I could do the whole thing without it. It's not like it's a completely necessity thing, but by putting in, and these are literally lids of a box. Let me just show you what they are. So they're a lid of a box, and that's all I've used. As anybody, if you're watching this, you'll know I'm not really, I'm a big fan of using what you've got. And really going with what you've got available to you. I don't think that you necessarily need special backgrounds or special props in order to make an image really spectacular. So these are just box lids. Okay, so I'm going to carry on building up from here, and I'm not even sure if that's going to live, that could live back here. Or, well, let's keep it where it is for now. The only reason why I'm moving this around a little bit is because when you have something so central, it really does become like the main focus. But I don't mind that it's a star of the show. Let's keep it there for now. And let's build other things around it. So I have my other beautiful big flowers. So let's put in all of the big star players in around it. I'm just trying to release some of the other flowers that have got tangled up here in it. So, oh, and this is another beauty. So let me just dab it on the tissue so that I don't get my set so wet. And this is another delicious one, mainly because it's got the shoots coming off it that I really enjoy. So we could put that a little bit here. So we're just going to see where it would like to live. We can put it as layers, so we could build this up. But I also love, look at the side view of that, and even the back view of these is so beautiful. I might use the back view of the smaller one rather than the big one, but even this, like the side view is so special. So that might be something that we like to use. And perhaps, oh, it's still a little heavy for the frog. I might have to fix the frog on the board. We'll see about that. So let's, for now, I'm actually going to separate the little one from it, and I'm going to shorten it just a bit. Let's keep the little one to one side just for a moment. I'll come back to using that, but I really like the side view. So let's first, if I put it there, I just want to see where it might want to live, or where, if I've going to take out these layers or move them around. So let's just play with giving this a bit of space. In fact, let's take this off entirely just for a moment. That's the other beautiful thing about putting things in. Just because you've put them in doesn't mean that you can't take them out at any point in time. Allow yourself the flexibility to be able to do really whatever you want to do with your images. And I love how this is. It might even be here. Like as in a kind of a call and an answer sort of flower. So let's see if I move that back here and this were to go. I'm just trying to work out like the best placements of these beautiful, because they're so big. I really want them to sit well with each other in the image. So let's just put this board back in a second and see. I suspect what's going to happen is I'm just going to have to lose these the shoots off them for a hot second, and then I will put them back in as I've placed them. So let's just put that, let's put that on a frog. Ooh. And I'm just going to put that here for just a second, because what I'm seeing is as I'm placing it, I'm automatically losing the shoot off the flower, off the back here, that I really liked. Now, I can put that back in later on, so I could either snip it out entirely right now and then put it back in later. We'll see how that works. I'll leave myself the option by leaving it there for a second, and then, do you see what I mean? Because I like the shoots coming off it, but it might mean that it stops us being able to play with it. So we'll just see how this works for a second. So, because these are so beautiful, these little ones here. I will put these back in. So I'm just going to save them for now, and I suspect I will be doing the same with the shoots that have come off. So what else? We have another beautiful one. I'm looking at the back here, and I'm looking for ones that I've had these out for a couple of days now, and some of the flower petals on the back are not so great. So these ones I would definitely have to show only from the front. Let me just, before I put them on the set, just remove those petals that are not necessarily at their best anymore. And I'm just going to save them. I'm just putting them on the set there so that you can see which ones I'm saving, because they'll be used actually as our set dressing in a bit. So that's one I'm going to just put there for a second and see if we've got, okay, because we've got another beautiful one here. So let's see about using this one in the back. So there's kind of three, that's what I want there, is there's three, and there's like a step down to each. Let me just cut that down to size. So there's a bit of a step down to each of them, but they're kind of all looking up at that middle one. So this one's going to be the center of attention. This one's going to be like our star. And we're going to kind of have these three kind of looking at each other, but looking at the middle one in particular. So let me put this one back in on the frog. Now that one's going to need a little bit of a help, I think. Let me just put that at the... I'm probably going to need to glue that one down a little bit, because that one's leaning back quite a lot. So I will either have to glue that on the paper, which the paper at the moment is moving on its own. So I will find a way. Let me just for a moment just prop up two frogs. I've just pushed the one frog over the other just to hold it in place. So currently we have like a conversation happening where the middle one is your main character, and then you have this beautiful big one on the outside and this one on the inside coming up and just supporting it. And I'm going to just hold that in place if I can, if it will allow. Thing is that I will find a way for it to be in place, even if it's not yet, even if it doesn't yet recognise that I will. So I have an idea. Let me use, I actually have a frog that has a little bit of a sticky bottom to it. So let me use that one and put that one in. And I'm just gonna, rather like Lego blocks, I'm just gonna stick that in there for a second. Now, I know that that is leaning back, and I will resolve that in a second. I will find a way of pushing that in a little bit further. It will find a way. We will find a way of putting that in anyway. Perhaps. Just like that. Okay. So at the moment, there isn't a gap between this one and this one as there is this one. So if I wanted to create a bit of a gap, perhaps I might want to readjust my framing just to push the framing a little bit closer in. Or I could have this one so that it is just a tiny wee gap there, and or even a little more there. And perhaps we'll find a way of putting this this one up at a bigger angle. So we'll still use that, but we will find a way of pushing that in once I've framed all of the others. So that's coming together rather nicely right now, and I kind of like, I'm just trying to get the gap between them right, so that there's this conversation that is going on. Now, I've talked about this quite a lot, about inspiration and where to get inspiration from. And I encourage you not only to look within, nature and your surroundings for inspiration, but also the things that you take in and the things that you see perhaps on television. And one of the recent things that I've taken a lot of inspiration from, and it's completely outside photography and art, but it's still an art form, is a series, and it's a basketball series, and I think Philippe's going to put it up on the screen for us so that you can see. It's a Netflix documentary, and it's all about, I think they're called the Chicago Bulls. And the documentary is called The Last Dance. And it's literally a documentary all about Michael Jordan and his basketball career. And the amazing thing about this is it has nothing to do with photography. It has nothing to do with our art, as in artistically visual art, but it is all about art. And I encourage everybody to watch it, even if you're not a basketball fan. I wasn't a basketball fan before watching it. I think the only thing I knew about basketball was that Michael Jordan was famous for the shoes. But in watching the documentary, I discovered a lot about things such as his artistry and the art form that is within his sport. And the great thing about taking inspiration from something like that is you can take away the relationships they have and what they have to say about certain things. So Michael Jordan, one of the things that he actually says in the very last episode of the series is that Michael never worries. Let me just bring live view back. Michael never worries about his performance or compares his performance to the last thing he did. And that struck me as an artist as being really powerful, because it's often how we see ourselves when we look back at our own work and we look at the work that we previously did, particularly when we've created something really spectacular or the last piece of work that we put in our portfolio is amazing. And we often think, how on earth are we going to top that? What if the next image isn't good? What if all of the images that we've made today are the best images that we've ever made? And Michael's philosophy on this is the idea of staying so present in today that he's not worried about whether or not the next game he's going to fail or it's going to not be good, or it's his last game was the last game or the best game he's played. He's not interested and he's not worried in that, because he's so focused in the present day. That was, for me, incredibly powerful, and it's something I wanted just to pass on to you as something to perhaps also grab hold of and take as inspiration, but also to know that when I'm creating images like this, it's very easy to think, oh gosh, what if I'm not going to do well today? Especially because these are live. So I always worry coming onto the lives, what if I'm not going to create a good image today? And I love his saying of staying present and just focusing on where you are, because you can't fail with that. And I find that to be incredibly powerful, but also going through and seeing somebody else's life and somebody else's documentary. When I come to a set like this, I am almost instantly comparing these flowers and giving them personalities. So for me, they are incredibly tall flowers. These basketball players are incredibly tall, and they support each other, and they know when to pass the ball to each other, and they know when to have this conversation of, do you know where I'm going next? And when I'm building up an image, I often have a story that I'm playing in my head. And today's story is actually about these basketball players, where you've got, you know, your central Michael Jordan, and then you've got your Pippins, and you've got your supporting. I'm not even going to pretend that I know the rest of the team's names, but you'll get the idea when you see the documentary. But I always have kind of a story going on when I'm building up my sets, because it helps me play a story out to myself, and also to be able to know that these are characters, and they each have a character, and they're playing and they're talking with each other. So I wanted to bring that to your into the conversation today. Okay, so this is now my base. So I can bring in now the smaller flowers, where I have particularly, let me just bring this one in, where I have some smaller, and I'm just going to check, I'm just checking the back of the flowers to see that they're going to be okay if I were to just turn them around and show the back. But I'm going to put these on a smaller frog, just chop them down so that they live in, perhaps in the front here. We could have another one here, quite like that one there. So let's put that in a little frog and pop you in there. Let's just, yeah. Are you going to stay there? Oh, I quite like how that did that. I'm not sure if I'm going to want to keep its back to the camera, but we'll see. I might want to just move them around a little bit. Okay, so that's quite nice. And I will probably bring in these because they're so tall, I am finding that they are a little bit unstable in the bases, but that's okay for now. I'm just going to drop a little inch or so off that one and put that one in here. Yeah, that might topple it a bit further. Just for now, I'm going to, let me just grab another frog. When I put something in behind it, it will help support and stabilize that. So we can just move him around. And I quite like if I just, right, just there perhaps. I'm just trying to give the tiny bit of space between this and the petal, so that this one just still has nothing interrupting its petal shape. So next one I'm going to bring in, again these ones are perhaps this, oh there's one exactly on his own. So let me just bring this one in, and he might just live in there. So let me just pop that stem down. Okay, so I'm going to kneel down here and just see where he belongs. we could pop him in here or in here, or actually in the frog on the front. We could pop that one in there. Okay, that one sits very nicely in there. So let's see how he does, because we have one more, and this one, the back is completely all of the petals. I'm just going to pop them out, and we will use the petals on the set. So I just keep them, I just put them on the set for now, so that I will style them in where I actually want them to go in a bit, but I'm just gonna take them off for now. Okay. So as we are live, don't forget you can ask me questions as we go. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have as we go, so please don't feel that you can't throw your questions in. I'm actually going to put these in water. This one is very much droopy, so I'm going to leave the rest of that in water and perhaps use that. If it revives, we might use it later. If it's not, that's not to worry. So we have one more big one, or biggish, and beautiful. Look at that one. Perhaps that one might live in the back here. Oh, great. That's cool. That's a boy band right there, isn't it? Let's put that one back here. I'm just going to cut the stem so that it sits flat rather than at an angle. So there we go. Smack in that frog. Bang. I would like to have him there, but we're going to fight with this frog, I think, yeah. Because they're so tall, I'm having to really support the frogs with another frog or a little weight. So I'm just finding a way of being able to make them just a little bit heavier and extra heavy, and supporting it. So this one's been quite tricky, because when you support it at the front, it wants to fall backwards. So I suspect I might have to put a tiny bit of sticky tape on this one. That's okay. Yeah, for now I'm just going to rest it back here. Let me see if it will rest back here whilst I find a way of sticky taping it. There's always a way. I will always find a way of dealing with this, but just for now, now I know what I want it to do. There we go. Okay, so it is a little bit of a Jenga situation going on for now, but that's okay. We'll work around it, and by the time we're finished, it will all resolve itself. She says, hopefully. Hopefully it will. Okay. I also like having those beautiful little seeds coming back in. Okay, so we've got kind of a base going on here. I will use these, but probably to cover the base, but not just yet. So I'm just going to pull them out of the way just for a second. Okay, so this is like the base. This is like the group that we're going to be dealing with, and now I add in the supporting players. So I have back here, what shall we use? Let's use, again using biggest first, the largest flowers first. because I think placing them in often gives us a sense of, okay, where are the gaps and what else will need to be filled in the gaps. Once we've filled in the star rolls, we'll fill in where the gaps are that need to be adjusted. So I'm kind of seeing this, at the moment it's like a beautiful little storytelling between them. They're going backwards and forwards, and your eye can go backwards and forwards between them. So now I'm kind of, these ones coming in of what are their story going to be and what are we going to tell of them. Now I'm going to take this one, the branch off it, and use that later. I mean, these ones are so beautiful. I do want them in the story. Like I don't want them to be just like, we could have one here perhaps. So I have 3 of these, so I'm just trying to work out, we could have one just here. Let's see if it would fill, perhaps, or even just there. Like there is really good, but I'm thinking that I don't have a taller one than this, so let me just check the heights of the others. No, that one's smaller, so that would still that would still need to be taller still. So the heights that I have, these kind of need to play perhaps here. Oh, I like that one. That one could come in here. Oh, if that one will let it. Oh, almost, mister. You almost had me. Let's just refiddle with this one. That might need some little help. It will need to go in a little bit further. We'll deal with that in a minute. I'm trying not to fiddle too much on set so that we can build up something. The problem is without knowing where that goes in, I can't work out the height. So let me just fiddle for just a second. Excuse the fiddling. We will just not too much talking amongst you, flowers, please. Come on. I suspect that I will be putting an order in for some more bigger frogs if these beautiful flowers are now coming into season. I might need a few more heavier frogs than I currently have. Okay. Let me just... I suspect, let's just, oh, no. This is what you get for doing things live, folks. You see everything live. It's sometimes a little tricky. Okay, so that one did actually snap the head of that one, so we will have to be very careful with this one now. Yep. And I will have to pin that. Okay, so you might, can you see what it did? It broke the stem there. So I'm going to have to just have a little pin repair there. So sometimes things, you know, it's not always straightforward straight away. Sometimes things need a bit of help. Actually, that pin isn't going to work, so I'm going to use, I have a piece of wire and I'm going to just wrap. You can get flower wire, but I actually don't have flower wire, so I'm just going to use a piece of old cable to wrap around my flower and hopefully keep the flower head straight. So, and at the same time just stabilize it against the flower at the back. So that's a quick repair. I don't know if you can see that. Let me put it in front of the camera so that you can see on the set. So that was a quick repair for my poor flower. Let me see if that will work. Pinning it back onto my flower frog. Oh. You know, sometimes you win some, sometimes it's a bit of a struggle, and that's okay. It's what it is. Thing is we get there in the end. The flowers yet don't know, I always say. I'm very persistent. They don't know that yet, but they're going to learn it. Because it really doesn't matter how long it takes me, I will get there. And sadly, that doesn't mean a bit of faffing, so I'm sorry for you watching that you're seeing the faff. But sometimes, you know, it's good to see when things don't always go right or amazing straight away. We do get there though. It just takes a bit of time. And one of the problems was this one here. So this problem child here. There's always one, Dennis. There's always one. We're going to call you Dennis for now. Because you were the one that was causing the upset. Okay. And I don't really know. If I can push another one against you and then have you supported. I suspect that's not going to work. And I might have to take just a tiny bit off your height just to make you stick into the base a little bit stronger. Let me just take this away. So I'm sorry, I try not to fiddle too much in these lives so that you actually get you know, to see a lot more, but sadly sometimes the flowers don't always want to play. They don't want to play ball. All right, I might stop using the football, the baseball, basketball puns now. Okay. When something doesn't work, it doesn't mean that I give up on it. It just means I have to find another way around. And just for now, I'm going to find a little jar or something that I can pop you in. And it's not going to be a permanent thing. It's just going to be for now, for camera. I will find another container in a minute, but just for now we're going to pop you in there. Oh, and that's not working either. Ah, okay, let's see if we can use this one. Okay. So this one's being a real bee. Okay. It's because it's so heavy and the base isn't so heavy. So I have some sticky tape. So now you see the big guns come out. So I have some floral sticky tape, and I know that if I stick this onto the paper, it's kind of like, it's the last resort because it will stain the paper, and it's floral tape. So let's see if I can stick that there, and then no. Wow, it's still not wanting to hold it up. All right, I'm going to move on in a moment so that this image still gets built today. So we will come back to you, she says. Yeah. Yeah, it's still not wanting to. Thing is that I will work to make sure that that happens. It will stay there. There will be a way of fixing him in place. So it will just perhaps be a container that I put him in, or a little glass bottle or container or something that will have a little bit more weight to it, even if it might be some stones. So in the meantime, I'm just going to pop him in the glass and see. I'll just leave him on set for a moment and work around him. It's funny, isn't it, how certain flowers are like, yep, no, we're not going to help you. We're going to cause massive disruption to your plans. Oh, funny. Okay, you can just stay there then. That's fine. Nope, still not going to stay. Wow. Okay. Right. Okay, that's fine. You stay where you want to. We'll come back to you. All right. I'm just going to pop this back here. So that will probably need to be a bit smaller and slimmer as well. So I'll just knock a little bit off that one to go in there, because it's about the heights now of trying to measure out the right heights of things. Ooh. I'm sorry, you're likely to hear a lot of noise now. We've got a lot of boy racers out today. Okay. See, even that one could go either just there or just in this gap here. That's where he was, I think, just before everything got a little bit upset. So we'll put you in there And that is, haha, my last flower frog. So now then, okay, all the main players are in, that's good. I don't know even if I wanted to, I just show the back of one of them. The back of them is very beautiful as well. Often, you know, some flowers are just, they are really beautiful, but the backs of them are also just as pretty, and you kind of think sometimes, do we want to? If I put that on there, just in that space there. Ooh. I disturbed the head there, didn't I? That's annoying. All of this is now massively precarious, so this is not going to hold up very well, I think, today. So let me just, this will also need a bit of tape at the bottom. I think that's the problem if you're using flowers and you want to keep the height of them, they are going to be very, very top heavy. So keeping them in place and keeping them, you know, stable is challenging. It's not always so easy, especially when you're trying to do something like this, where you're trying to put them all in their own little place. And that one definitely fell out of its wiring. Oh. Oh, you know, some lives, every time we switch on the camera, it gets complicated. And, you know, sometimes it's almost like the flowers know. We press live or record on a camera, and suddenly all the flowers go, ha 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 ha. You know, you thought you wanted to make an image today. Well, we're going to make that as difficult as possible for you. And that's what it is. Oh, I hope that this is at least going to stay for me. I'm wrapping another wire around it because I am determined it's going to stay. Now I'm going to put it back in, and of course it's going to lean backwards. Work with flowers, they said. It'll be fun, they said. Oh. Okay, what's going on here? Besides you not wanting to do this, what's your problem with this? Hey, you're going to be the star. Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm going to come back to you in just a second when you've had time to think about what you're doing. Sit it out for a minute, and we'll just pop you in some water for a moment, and I'm going to come back to you. So, what's going on here? Did you just think that because one of your players was down, huh? Let's pop you back up. What's going on here? Hey. Now then, you all seem to be making life very difficult for me today. put some sticky thing on you, shall I? Okay, you wanted some sticky thing as well. Okay, so I put some sticky on the base of this flower frog, and I'm going to stick him down. Oh, and of course let's just pull him around there. And now the flower frog on the back, just to hold it down, hopefully. Ah, why are you all making this so difficult today, hey? Now, I do play Jenga a lot with my flowers. It's always a given, but I'm not quite sure. I think because of the tallness of them today, I've made this incredible set much harder for myself. So let's see if we can have one more go with that flower in the back. Now, I want him to go there, and he's got other ideas. So let's just untangle him for a second. And okay, so this flower is now, I don't have flower tape, which would be a solution. So what I'm actually going to do is going to tape, like I would normally, you can wrap or you can tape, and I also have pins, so I'm going to try and pin him stably in. So let me just show you what that will look like. So I'm going to take a pin and just push the pin down through the wire and the stem and try and see if that will keep in place. Now, that doesn't feel too stable to me, so I'm going to help him out by now wrapping the wire, thick wire, around that whole thing again, so that hopefully that will keep it in place. I'm not terribly hopeful at this point. But that's okay. We're gonna give it a whirl and see if this fix works. So the next thing I'll need to do is to stick him in the flower frog and hopefully balance him. Right, he definitely wants to just go backwards a little bit, so I'm also conscious that is he gonna stay? Possibly not. So I'm just trying to stick some of the green stuff in the base to keep him secure, and gently move him around here. Okay, and I see this this one at the front has decided it too was gonna be slanty. Oh, okay. Honestly, today I'm super sorry that this is no, stay where you are. This is a fiddle day, and I'm very sorry for you watching that. It's certainly not the quickest set coming together. So sometimes these images come together in 5 minutes, and then other times they might take 5 hours. Actually, that's not true. I've never done an image that takes 5 hours, but they do take a little bit of coaxing sometimes, and that's okay. Okay. Right, come on now. Now we'll move on to our other flower, hopefully, she says. Okay, we wanted one back here. We weren't sure of the height, so we were thinking of one back here, perhaps even here. And I do like the idea of putting one in here. So I'm going to cut this one down. I'm just going to make sure that I don't have a smaller one already, which I do. So let's just take that one and cut that one first, so that if I need something with a height, I've got it in a minute. So I'm just going to cut that one down. And of course, I am now all out of my beautiful flower frog. So let's see where I would like to put it. I think I'm most likely going to put it there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to little bit of green tack from my flower tape, and I'm just going to encourage that to stick because that's worked for me so far, right? Today everything has been a fight with you flowers, and I'm not sure it needed to be. Oh, yeah, you're going to slowly rock forwards there, so we're going to just prop you up, and we're going to keep you, I think, here, right on the corner there, but just underneath that flower, which I really like. So we're going to prop you up there, if you will stay. Now, stay. They are struggling to be put in place today. Okay. And I'm probably going to cover the base of that one with a little petal. So I'll just put that there now to remind myself that I'm going to do that. And hopefully he will stay. I can see that he's already kind of moving a little bit and rotating. So that's not what I want, but we'll see. We'll see where he ends up. Okay. The next beautiful one I have is this one, and I think this one's going to be here. Let's just put him into place. And again, I think you could easily belong. Oh, look at that. You can go there. And I might use the same sticky tape technique. Let me just pop that in there. So I'm going to use some green tape, and it's like this is like blue tack type thing that it does. If I can just show you, it wraps around the flower stalk, so I can cushion the stalk really, really well, and it will stick to the set, if you can see that. Now then, nope, 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 nope. Oh dear. Okay. This one is going to be the worst one, I think, this one in the back. So I'm just going to remove him for a moment whilst he thinks about his actions, because the pin is not stabilizing him very well. So I'm going to need to try and stabilize him a little bit higher up, I think. So and I might have to work on him last so that when I get it right, he just stays, even if it's just for the click of the camera. Because he's clearly all over the place for me today. So I'm just going to pop him next to my butterflies. We'll come back to you, don't worry. We'll just let you have a cool down and to think about your actions for a while, offset. Okay, so you want it to go there. And again, I'm going to want to cover up the tape with a petal. So I'm just going to put that there for a moment, just to remind myself of what I'm thinking. Okay. So, I am kind of reluctant right now to bring more tool things in, but this is probably one of the last ones I wanted to put in here. So let's just see. Okay. You behave for a moment, please, over there. I'm just going to shuffle you back. Okay. Yes, I saw you. Oh dear. Come on now. I think if we get some weight near the base of these ones, we may be in better luck. So let's start now with some of these darker flowers, because these darker ones, I wanted them to live in the bases. So the light live in the top, and then you've got these beautiful darker flowers in the bottom. So I'm going to see if there we go. Okay, so we'll wrap some of these beautiful dahlias in the bottom, and then hopefully that will be... Oh, hello, Mr. Bob. Have you just woken up? Yes. Yes, I thought you might. Ah. Why not come and join the party, Bob? Yes. Okay. Trying to just get some weight into the front of these. Okay. And some stabilization. Perhaps I'm going to just take, because this is all on paper, I'm struggling because you move one and the paper is moving with everything. So let's just let's just try again. Okay. This is what happens when we do lights. You see everything as it happens. And you see everything falling over and you see the realities of working with a set. Now, okay, now these are not perfect for sure. They are not going to stay, but we're going to work with what we have for just a moment and see what we can get with them. So this one here, you wanted to live here. Let's see if we can just pop you in for a second. Okay, now this one back here, again, oh, okay, we will just, nope. This is definitely where you get to see that sometimes things just don't want to work. And that's okay, like that will happen. You will definitely get days where things don't come together or things just a little bit more time consuming than you thought because they're not doing exactly what you want them to do. And that's okay. These setups are, as you can tell, they're fiddly and they're complicated and they are a little bit more delicate than they first look. And that's also okay. That's what they're, you know, we like them because they are so elegant and beautiful. But we also know that that comes sometimes with a little bit of, you know, time, and setup might take just that little bit longer to set up. And it's easy to get discouraged, and honestly I understand when things don't go right, you know, that the urge to just go, oh, it's okay, fuck it, or don't bother. Yeah, I'm sorry for my oh, no, he didn't want to come back in. Okay. And the truth is that that's okay. Some days just don't work for you. Let's just... I'm quite stubborn, so at some point this is going to work for me, but I can appreciate that this might be a little bit boring to watch for now. So let me just... I think that sometimes it's okay. This one back here, this, I wonder if I have actually some water in a vase, if the water in the vase is going to make it a little bit heavier than, let's see. I'll have to cover this this vase in a minute. Let's see. Here's little flowers today. I'm watching them and I can see they're kind of leaning and leaning and leaning before they fall over. So this one here has caused a lot of problems. So let me just swap this one for a bigger frog that I alleviated from the back. So let me just pop all of these in here and let's see. So now that's a bit more stable. Perhaps even that one can go on the end of it. So we'll get there. There you go. So now then, that one and that one is fine. This one in the back, our one that is broken, let me just see if I've got some sticky tape, and I'm gonna just see if I can come into the set and sticky tape him to the side of the vase so he stands up a lot straighter in the pot. So we're going to pop you back into the set, and I can definitely see the pin at the back has not stood up at all. So we're going to see if we can help the pin again. And I'm going to take it offset to do that, because if I don't, it might unbalance the rest of the set again. So I'm going to take a pin and go the opposite way this time. And hopefully giving it just that little bit of extra support may make it feel like it can just stay where it needs to go. Okay. Oh, we will get there. Okay, even if it's back there a little bit, and this one here in the back may need to come down just slightly. Let's now pop you in a frog. And, oh, no, perhaps just a tiny bit lower for height. Okay. Which I really like. Okay, that's great. The thing that I'm seeing right here, can you see this one in the back here is now not being framed so well. So I'm actually going to make him, I'm going to drop him down just by cutting off just a tiny bit of his stem, and I'm going to take him straight up and out to try not to disturb the rest of my set. So generally, the Jenga, the falling over, only happens towards the end of my setup. So it is slightly annoying that this has happened. Oh, did I put him in the wrong way? That it's happening so early in the set. And even there, I might even Even there, just drop him down just a tiny bit more. Perhaps it's better to cut it slowly and steadily as you go, so that you don't cut too quickly and too fast. Okay. Oh, nearly had it. Okay. So now we go. That's beautiful. Okay. So now we've got the main characters in and they're kind of staying put. We're going to put some more of these beautiful red dahlias in. So let me just cut some in. And I'm going to be putting these ones in as well because they are so beautiful with the little leaves on them. So let me just cut that one down to size. As this is live, people, please let us know where you're joining us from. And if you do have any questions, drop them in the comments and I will go through them with you and we can talk about pretty much anything that you would like to go over. So if you've got questions, okay, so you've got my sound back? Okay, great. Sorry folks, again, we are live, so things happen and we have some broadcasting issues today as well as flower issues that don't want to stay in place, stand up, or generally do what we want them to do. So this is all a bit okay. Back there, that wasn't exactly where I wanted him, so I might come back and change him out in just a second, but in the meantime let's just put some other flowers in. Finally some green things here coming in, so we're gonna just pop that on there. And this one, I love this one, this one's so cute. I'm gonna pop that one in the middle of our set, which at this point in time is quite precarious. So let me take one out and pop him in. Okay. Oh, and he's hidden, so let me just cut him down to size a little bit so he's not so hidden. Okay, now you can see him again, but let's pop him over to the side so he's got a little bit more visibility. And then this beautiful, I really wanted them to both be seen, so let's see how I can achieve that. He's there. Oh, bit of jealousy is going on here with these. Come on, let's sort you out. Let's get you all some visibility. Let's okay. Bit of rivalry argy-bargy going on there. That's okay, we've got him. Okay, so I'm liking how these are coming in, and we've got a few more. So we're going to add in some, I really like how these ones give me a bit of greenery here as well. So I'm going to add the greenery in. It's a bit of a lower level here. Great. And also oh, you know, I want to put that there, but I'm not sure that we can balance him, having tried to balance them against that wall before. But I think actually perhaps I have one, yep, I have one frog left. Let's see if we can pop you there. There we go. Okay, so you can go in there, and we will use a bit of the greenery on the base here. Oh, let me just cut him with a clean cut. Okay, we are getting there. Okay, and there's a beautiful one here. I would like him to be into this as well. So we just see there. Oh, no, you would need to be a bit higher, my love. Yeah, great. Okay, so I like what's happening here. So now what I'm going to do is, so some of these also need to come in. Let me just, okay. So I'm just trying to see at what height they can go in. Hello, Bob. Yeah, hello. Hey. Oh. No, you see that interfered with this one, but I'm going to just lower this one then. Oh. Again, very much a Jenga act, but the heights are super important. So if I don't get them right, you won't see the individual flowers and their particular spaces. So it's worth, I know that there's a balancing and a juggling, and each time I come into the set, you know, there's a risk of something falling. But the problem is you really need to keep the focus of what we're trying to do with all of the beautiful spacing and the conversation that's happening. So just because it's difficult doesn't mean that it's not worth trying to go in and do it, even if it's risking the set to do it. There we go. See, and that beautiful leaf coming down. It's really gorgeous. No, 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 come on. Okay. Now, some of these, again, will get covered with petals. And to do that, you need to have a hint of the petals everywhere in order to make it work, so it doesn't look like you're just covering the flower frogs. It does need to have like a hint of them in each platform. So I'm just going to pop those in. Oh. Particularly in the spaces here where there's like a lot of light, you're going to see them quite brightly. So we're going to pop also one on the glass itself, so it looks like it's falling off the glass, and a couple here. certainly one here and here, and one there. So, and you see on the step back there where there's a in the middle, oh no, I will push them forwards, perhaps with a stem. I've got a stem here, so I could just come in here and move those a little bit forward so that they look like they've landed rather than being thrown onto set. I'm just trying to get that back one hooked in. Okay, there we go. And certainly one here. It's nice to curl them or to style them in rather than just have them flat. Having them flat doesn't read quite so nicely. And I'm just going to pop this one, cut the base off and pop him in. So now you get the idea of these beautiful tall players kind of talking with each other. You can then add in pretty much anything else that you wanted. For me, one of the big things right now would be just to make sure that these bases are covered. And what I might do with that, I've got some of these daisies, so let me just bring those in. Oh, they're all wrapped in each other. Thank you. So I've got some of these beautiful little daisies, and I might just pop those in the front, and they would cover in these. Let me just show you. So if I just snip off a few, just to show how that might look. So I would just perhaps pop some in like that, and that way I can then just cover those up with a tiny green leaf of theirs, like this one, and just so it covers it, you see, and it doesn't look out of place, because you would have a little row. Let me just do that. A little row of daisies that would just be, you know, going on, and you could prop them up here. Oh, okay. Of course, everything today will fall over for me, and that's okay. I will definitely put some little sticky tape down for these. So, where is my sticky tape? Okay. So this is my tiny sticky tape, and I would just pull off a tiny bit and have some of these stuck into each other and then onto the set like that. Of course. So that would be kind of how I might cover this one. Oop. And bring that element in. And already you can see, like, you've got the big ones, you've got the medium size, and then you've got the really small size, beautiful round heads. So I'm aware that I've shuffled things a lot today, and I've faffed a lot. So this is where I'm going to leave you for today. things that I will carry on with now, so that you just know before you see the final image, is I will add far more of these in the front, and I will probably spritz the whole thing, especially these big ones, with water, probably not the ones that are falling over too much because it carries a lot of weight in. So I will delicately drop 1 or 2 drops rather than spritz the whole set. And then I will add in some butterflies if it will allow me, but I'll probably take a safety shot before then and then add in my butterflies. So I really hope that you found some of this to be useful. If nothing else, entertaining that it was all falling over today. We are back every last Sunday of the month at 2 p.m. Building up these images. So I hope that you can join us again. And in the meantime, I hope that you have a great rest of your weekend.